Well, welcome to the show, Hailey Davidson.
Thank you.
You know, you are a Visa player. Finally, something that the Wellington Phoenix have. We're all shaking our head here because we've actually, as fans, been fighting for it in the league. Being able to not have to sacrifice New Zealand players to get Visa players. We had a requirement to have Aussies on the team, so it's nice to have have a little pack of Americans come out.
A little bit of spice in the mix.
Always. So we have Dean here, and he's from the little corner of yellow. And we have Ethan, who's just an amazing fan for.
Love that. Love the blue jersey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to start off. We have this like signature question. Describe yourself as a footballer in 3 words.
First one I would probably say is speedy, athletic, competitive.
Yeah. So which one really stands out when you're at the Wellington Phoenix?
I would say the competitiveness. I mean, I would say like our culture just from being in preseason for 2 weeks is already just like compete. It's a great competitive environment. Everyone wants to be there. Everyone wants to work. And that kind of is what drives me in a team is that competitive nature. So I think that we can also bring that a little bit more to the Phoenix American.
Yeah. Yeah. No more polite New Zealanders. A little bit of American.
They probably think we're so crazy. It's just like, I think that we've just brought a little bit of this excitement to the team and like competitiveness and loudness and like bringing people out of their shells, and it's a super fun environment to be in. So, and I think everyone's pretty glad that we're here. So, I mean, it's been a lot of fun so far.
Cool. Tell me more about what hypes you up when you're on the pitch.
I mean, just this opportunity in general, I think that it's an insane opportunity to be able to come to New Zealand and play for the only professional team like in New Zealand so far. I think that like hypes me up in itself, to have that opportunity and like to be surrounded by so many people that are so invested in our club and put so much effort into it. Like just being able to make like those people proud is like something that hypes me up. And I know the same with the rest of the girls. So.
All right. That's cool. Let's go back in time so people get to know a little bit who you are. You grew up in Texas playing football. I did. Yeah. What is that like? I mean, that's a big state, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Tell us about the youth system in American football.
So, I mean, obviously, the American national team is like one of the best teams in the world, and I think that like every club team in the U.S. trickles down from that and tries to be like the best version of that and to develop players to become the best in the world. I mean, that's just the American like culture and the American way, I feel like, in the soccer world. But specifically like North Texas, there's a huge pool of talent in places like Colorado and California. So, I mean, growing up in North Texas specifically, I played for FC Dallas my like entire life, my whole club career, which is like obviously they have an MLS team. Unfortunately, no NWSL team, but the standard was seriously like more success. Everyone that pretty much played at FC Dallas, like you get sent off to a really good college at a good program. You kind of expect for that to be like the culture in North Texas. So, and there's tons of other clubs like Solar Chelsea, like Sting, like all kinds of clubs that are the same way. So growing up, it's like such an intense environment, such a competitive environment. Like I said, I grew up playing for FC Dallas my whole life. So like the standard was always super high. And I think that's like kind of what helped me in college was like that expectation of like where you come from and like your drive and like growing up in that environment your whole life, like really pushed you towards that. So like I said, North Texas is like huge for soccer. So it's a pretty special place to be at.
Yeah, even I know that North Texas is a hotbed for soccer, and there's a few other areas. You mentioned Colorado, California, even places like New Jersey. There's some.
I mean, it's scattered everywhere, so you really can't go like wrong with a lot of the clubs that are in the U.S. Like I said, it all trickles down from the national team. I feel like you just have such a high expectation, and that's just kind of the culture.
So after FC Dallas, or is it Dallas FC?
FC Dallas.
As FC Dallas.
I mean, it could be both, I guess.
Okay.
FC Dallas.
You went to Oklahoma. You became a Sooner.
I did, yes. So back when I was in high school, it was when you could commit to college like super early. Even like we had girls in 8th grade committing to college to play soccer, which is crazy. But so I committed pretty early. My freshman year of high school, I kind of was having a lot of interest from different colleges around the country, and I knew I wanted to stay like somewhat close to home. And I knew that I wanted to go to like a huge athletic program that puts a lot of money into it, that puts a lot of like resource into it. So went on a bunch of visits. I went to like Tennessee, Arkansas, and like at the end of the day, I kept coming back to OU. I just absolutely loved it. So I was committed like freshman year all through high school to this college. So I pretty much knew early on like where I wanted to go. And it's a Power 5 conference, the Big 12. So obviously like the Power 5 conferences in college soccer are like where you typically like want to be at. Have that pretty much like the highest level, I would say. So it kind of just ticked all the boxes, and that's where I started. I was a winger my whole life. And then like my last year at FC Dallas, they kind of converted me towards like a wing back position. So I was kind of playing both when I left for college. And then I went into my freshman year of college being a winger. My freshman year, I scored like 4 goals, had a few assists as a freshman coming off the bench. So got a decent amount of playing time. Got a good amount of starts. And then my sophomore year is when our actual starting wingback, she transferred out. So we kind of didn't know, like we didn't really have like a backup option. And so they started putting me there, and it kind of just stuck. So ever since then, I've just been pretty much just a wingback. And I absolutely love it. So I think I was meant to be a wingback, I would say. So, but I didn't know it until college.
And then you transferred to Pitt.
I did, yeah.
Tell me a bit about Pitt and your coach.
Yeah, I mean, I tell this to everyone that asks, like, Pitt was the best thing that's happened to me, like personally and my soccer career. I transferred out like January of 2020, right before COVID. And actually, this is like a long story, but Randy Waldrum, he's the head coach of the Nigerian national team. They just did super well, if you didn't know, in the World Cup, which is awesome. But he's a head coach there. His son, Ben Waldrum, is the assistant coach. And Ben Waldrum coached me pretty much my entire life at FC Dallas. So they're from Texas. And then while I was still in high school, they moved up to Pittsburgh to be the head coaches at Pitt. And then one day I called Ben and I was like, listen, I need help. Like, I want to start new. I want to start like a different program, and I don't really know what to do. Like, how do I do this? And he was like, well, are you coming up here? And I was like, yeah. I mean, seriously, it was just like that easy because I've known him my whole life, and like they were restarting the program. It's in the ACC, which is arguably like the best conference in the United States, obviously towards the bottom, and they had just gotten hired, and they're looking to build, and they're looking to build their program and become a pretty prominent place in the U.S. So, and I like the idea of that. I wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted to help build something that was bigger than me. And Ben and Randy have meant so much to me growing up, like with my success as like a youth player, that I was like, it's kind of like my family. So I packed my bags and moved up to Pittsburgh. And I had the absolute like time of my life. It was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like I completely blossomed as a player. And the pieces just came into the puzzle for me, like off the field, on the field, life. And I actually didn't even really think about being a professional player after college until Randy became my head coach in college. And he was just like, I think that you could do this. And I was like, I had never like thought about it before. No one had really like told me that until I moved up to Pittsburgh. And then I kind of fell in love with the game again. I kind of had lost that when I was at Oklahoma. And then when I was in Pittsburgh, I truly just fell in love with it all over again. And then I just kind of I fell in love with becoming a professional player. So that's what I worked for, like those 3 years, like not only building like their program and building success in that program, but also like building myself to be able to become a professional one day. And then by the time I left, I took my 5th year. By the time we had left, we made the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament and this was like the first time we had ever even made the tournament. We made it to the 3rd round. We made it pretty deep. The best season in program history. Like it was seriously such a great ending to my college career. So everything happens for a reason, I say. So
what teams did you play in that tournament?
Oh, we played first round. We played Buffalo, which they've been in and out of the tournament for years. I mean, they win their conference all the time. They're not like a Power 5 school, but they still win their conference. And then we played Georgetown, which is also in and out of the tournament all the time. And then it sucks, but we played Florida State in the 3rd round. I wish we could have gotten like an out of conference game, like just to kind of test those waters. But it was a good run. So I'm grateful for that.
There's nothing like hitting the Sweet 16 in any sport.
Yeah. I get goosebumps now thinking about it. Like it was just incredible. So
yeah. Well, congratulations on that. So you come out of college. What happens? You get an agent. How does one become a professional soccer player? So luckily, I mean, like I said, Randy is the head coach of the Nigerian team. He also was the head coach of the Houston Dash in the NWSL for a little bit. Highly decorated coach at Notre Dame University. So he has tons of like connections. And so towards like the beginning of my last season, so last August, we sat down and kind of like went through some film, and I sat down and I went through like literally every single college game that I've played in, and I put like this big highlight video together because I've played a lot of big minutes. And so I put one big video together and I sent it to him, and I was like, do what you need with this video. I made this. And then he kind of sent it out to people that he knew, like different agents. And I actually like posted it on Instagram randomly. And it kind of blew up a little bit. Got tons of views. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to put this on a YouTube channel. So I put it on a YouTube channel, and that kind of blew up a little bit. So then I started getting some interest from different agencies, like just literally through my social media. Met with a few that Randy knew, met with one that I had actually found myself, the one Linus who I'm working with now, who's my agent now. And he's based over in Sweden. So he doesn't have huge like connections in the US, I would say. Like that's still like a new thing for his agency. But I mean, he represents some of like the best players in Europe, different clubs like Barcelona. He just signed someone at PSG, like super decorated agent. And so I kind of like, it was like an honor for me that he like wants to work with me. Like I'm one of the first Americans that he's going to be like working with. And so I kind of liked that idea too. So me and Randy met with him a few times. I kind of decided like Randy's going to help me try to get into the NWSL and like reach out to those coaches. And then if that doesn't work out, then Linus is going to help me get over to Europe, because I knew I wanted to keep playing regardless if I was in the US or not. So we decided to work with Linus, and then our season ended, and I was kind of just a waiting game for the draft. I had a few Zoom calls with like the Spirit,
was in contact with like different NWSL teams, I was on a few draft lists. And then draft day comes, you sit in front of the TV, you wait, and like your name just doesn't get called. And I mean, that's the reality of it. So, but then a few days later, I got a message from the Houston Dash, and they had invited me into the preseason camp to potentially earn a contract. So, I mean, that was so stunned about that, like was so excited. I mean, that's your dream as like an American growing up, obviously. And it's close to home, so it was very convenient. Drove down there, and that's actually where I met Hope Breslin, who's on the team now. So her and I met at preseason camp at the Houston Dash. So unfortunately, I mean, they brought in a bunch of girls, and they only had a few contracts. So unfortunately, like I wasn't one of the ones that got a contract. So after that, I kind of got on the European horse, and I was scrambling at that point because like the different transfer windows like have different end dates. Like Central Europe is like way sooner than like the Scandinavian countries. So me and my agent found Malbacken. We're in the Swedish second division. They really needed a right back, and so I wanted to get minutes as well. I didn't want to like wait at home and not be try to train on my own. It's very hard to do that. So I was like, well, why not? And so I signed a short-term contract, like a 4-month contract to go over there. Got good minutes, 90 minutes every game pretty much over there. And then, sorry, this is a lot of information.
It's great because, it shows people how people become a professional footballer. Yeah. And it's not so obvious for a lot of people.
It's not. And it's not all like sunshine and rainbows on like social media. Like it's a lot that you do go through to get to the point that you want to get to. And so went over there for the first time. I've never been to Europe before until then. And then went on after I was done with that contract. I went on a few trials. I went on a trial with BK Häcken, which is in the Damallsvenskan, like the first division in Sweden. Didn't work out with that because they ended up not loaning someone out, and then just logistically it didn't work. And like being a non-EU player in Europe is like very expensive, and so that didn't end up working out. So flew back home, kind of was just waiting, working with my agent, trying to find different teams that were reaching out. I had a few interests from like teams in the Netherlands and countries like that. So. But then got in contact with Paul, and it was seriously just like the most easy process with him. Like he was like, listen, we want this type of wing back, and we've been looking at your film and we really like you, and started selling me about the ALeague, and I was like, that's fine. You don't even have to like tell me about it. Like I'm coming. It's fine. I was just happy that like someone finally like saw me and was like sure about me as a player and like believed that like I could come in and like help them. That like meant a lot to me because I'd just been waiting for so long. I feel like, so it's truly an honor that like I get to be here, and like I have loved every second of it. So it's kind of a long process, but here we are now. So
yeah, that's great. I really love the process. It's not all, like just like this, you go all over the place and you find some incredible stories of people who do these journeys, maybe come back to the NWSL or just, blossom in different ways, or just have a blast along the way in their life and have no regrets. So I'm absolutely thrilled that the Phoenix and you found each other.
Yeah. No, me too. Trust me. Yeah.
Cool. Dean, would you like to ask some questions?
Yeah. Have you been here or there for about maybe 2.5 weeks? How do you feel you're settling into New Zealand and Wellington?
I mean, it's a beautiful place. Like nothing like I've ever seen anything like it. Like I truly feel like at home, which is like very hard to do when you're so far away from home. So, I mean, like the girls are awesome, super welcoming. Like the environment is so welcoming, inclusive. Paul, Callum, like Sean, like all of the staff has like made sure that like all of us visa players are like fitting in well and like everything we need, and like seriously like everything and more that you need they give us, which is, I mean, it's incredible. So it's been seriously like one of the easiest processes like that I've had to go through, like transitioning to somewhere else. And the level of the play like just keeps getting better like every single practice. Like these past 2 weeks like have been great. I love the way that Paul wants to play. It's very like possession oriented, and like keeping the ball is like the priority, and like that's how I like to play. And it's good soccer, or good football, I guess. Good football to watch. So I think that like people are going to be extremely excited to watch us play this year. I think it's going to be a good mix and a good culture, and they're just amazing people, and it's an amazing place. So literally no complaints at all.
And as far as sort of like the differences between New Zealand and the US, how many times have you walked over to the passenger side door of a car only to find out it's the driver's side? Things like that?
No, seriously, it was so embarrassing. But like when I landed, my dad came over with me because he wanted to see it for himself. Sean picked me up, and we were walking to the car, and I just went over to the passenger side, the right side of the car, to go sit in the back, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my God." No, but I mean, they've given us a car, like so many different things like that they've given us is great. And so me, Hope, and Mariana, obviously, like we take turns driving, and like you have to practice it to like feel comfortable doing it. So it's gotten better. It's gotten better. We all try to stay together when we drive. So like if someone's like on the wrong side of the road, like you fix it. But no, it's been a process, but I mean, it's a fun process. So.
And before we started recording, we kind of established the fact that perhaps New Zealand pizza might need a little bit of work on it before it's edible for Americans. Have you found some interesting or exciting places to eat in Wellington?
So, I mean, I love, obviously being from Texas, like I love Mexican food. And so like I've tried to ask the girls, like, where can I get some good Mexican food? Like, so we've tried a few places, like down on Cuba Street is like where all like the restaurants are, I guess. So there's some good restaurants down there. There's a lot of good Thai food, I will say here. We do love the Thai food. So pizza might need a little work, but the Thai food's good.
There's actually a good pizza place in Petone.
Really?
La Bella Italia, and it's owned by like a father of a Wellington Phoenix player, right? An ex-player.
Yeah, Kakachi, yeah.
What's it?
Yeah, I think it's La Bella Italia.
Okay.
And it's really good. You walk in, it's this big warehouse, and there's like these old Wellington Phoenix stuff on the.
Oh my God!
And you feel like you're in the middle of just a place in Italy. It's a good one. So Petone's not that far away. You just go down the huts, and there you are. So that's a good tip.
I'll definitely look it up. I mean, it's such a beautiful place. Like I love the Oriental Bay like area. Just like walking down there, it's like incredible. Like nothing I've ever seen. So.
And it's very early, but everybody in New Zealand asks that question to visitors. But what's your favourite place so far?
To eat?
Oh, just with it in Wellington so far. Just a favourite place to be. You mentioned Oriental Bay looking very good. Yes,
I think that's for now. I mean, I've only been here for 2 weeks, so we've been training so much, so there's not much time to really like go explore yet. But Oriental Bay, like that area, is beautiful. I'm sure it's a very touristy place, but a few of the girls have suggested some beaches that are close to where we live at, so we might just go check those out a little bit when the weather gets warmer. So
Ethan might be able to sort of help you out there as well.
Yeah. It won't get warmer. It's Wellington.
Oh, yeah.
It's either raining or windy.
The weather has not been good. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's a struggle. I mean, from California and it rained like 5 days a year, and now
Yeah.
I'm just drenched all the time.
Oh,
We get
it's
10
not
good
been
days
good.
a year.
Yeah.
It's not been good.
As long as I'm
Yeah.
match day, it's all right. Do you live with Mariana and Hope and Alyssa? Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
How's it going with like that one Kiwi? Do you understand what she says?
Oh no, it's so funny. She'll say things that we're just like, what? Like what do you mean by that? But I've started saying reckon and like
Oh, reckon?
keen, because like she's around in the house. So no, it's funny, and I say y'all and like things like that, and she's just like, what? So it's funny.
I love y'all. I've actually taken that as like, I'm not from the South, but I've taken that as my word that I say in
Yeah.
New Zealand. It's great. It's like pronoun inclusive, and it's like,
Exactly. There's no issues with it. It's just a feel good word.
it's a lovely word, y'all.
I look forward to catching up with Alyssa at the end of the season, seeing if she's got an American accent. I reckon.
We were talking about it the other day because we just got our roommates for our Australian trip, and Chloe Knott was like talking because she's with Mariana, and she was like, I'm gonna have an American accent like by the time we get back from Australia. So
Well, reckon.
Well, Chloe actually went to, didn't she go to like LSU or something?
she went to Georgetown. Yeah.
Georgetown, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a smarty pants.
Yeah. It's a good school.
You mentioned you bumped into Hope. Did you come across Mariana when you were playing at all, or did you play against Hope?
So Mariana, I'm 22, and I think when I was a junior, Mariana was a senior or a fifth.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, but she, I only played against her like my very first season at Pitt in 2020. And then after that, like obviously she went into the NWSL and like went to Iceland and stuff, and I was still playing in college. So I knew like of her obviously like from scouting and keeping up with the league and everything, but I didn't know her personally like how I met Hope at Houston.
Just goes to show how small football is, that you played against somebody in
It's
America
crazy.
and you both end up on the same team
You're
here
playing
in New
against someone,
Zealand.
and you're like a few years later you're going to be on the same team, which is just crazy. So
I think that's why you should be nice to everybody.
yeah, no, exactly. You're exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Ethan?
Ethan, you've got some questions now, I believe.
Yes, more around the actual footballing in the A-League. So could you describe to us what kind of your typical day of training is like at NZCIS?
So obviously like these few weeks that we're in preseason, like will look a little different, but typically we leave the house at like 7:15 for a treatment. Us Americans like to go sit in the warm tub and, do all the fancy like treatment stuff to feel good before. So we get there pretty early. And then we start in the gym at 9:30 with just some like pre-activation things. And then right after that, we go out to the training grounds and we train for about an hour and a half, depending on the day. And then sometimes we'll have a meeting before training, go over film or dietary needs or anything like that. And then sometimes we'll have one after training. It just kind of depends on the day. But on Tuesdays, we have gym after training and sometimes another training. But it's more of like a walkthrough type thing. So we're pretty much done, like besides on Tuesdays, we're pretty much done every day at like 12:30, which is nice. You get in there in the morning and then you kind of have the rest of the day to yourself. So it's been pretty good. It's very chill. It's very like listen to your body and kind of do what's best for you and get into treatment and recovery. So
Nice, that's good. What sort of things do you like about NZCIS compared to, I'm assuming, the vast range of facilities used over your college career and stuff?
So obviously, like in America, the college facilities like typically are very good because they are funded by a university. So I know like coming from Oklahoma and Pitt, which are two huge like powerhouse schools, like athletically, like there's tons of money poured into it. And so they were very, very nice. We were kind of spoiled. So, and then going over to Europe, like the facilities weren't as nice. Definitely like nothing from what I had it in the US. And so it was kind of like a do your own recovery, like in the river or like in your tub, or like there was like not a lot of resource. And so then coming here, where pretty much if you need anything, like it's right at your feet. It's been incredible. Like my body feels great. There's really no soreness. If there is soreness, you hot tub, you do the boots. That our trainer is always available to help us. So there's so many resources and like so many different people you can go to about anything that you need. So it's really like hard to fail here. It's really hard to like not feel your best. So it's been incredible.
That's awesome. So obviously quite exciting times ahead for the women's team. What are some things that you or the squad are looking to achieve this season?
So, I mean, obviously you want to improve from last season. I know like in the past, the Phoenix, like women's side, there's not a lot of history of like wins, and we want to change that. And we want to win more games. And last year, like from what I've heard and like what I've seen, they competed really well in the games. It's just more of like there might have been like a little missing piece to it that's like in the final third or like just in the team in general. And so our goal this year is to like put the puzzles together and like to be able to finish these games that we want to win, and like we know that we can win and we have the pieces to do so. So I would just say like taking it week by week, like not getting too ahead of ourselves and like not reminiscing on the past either. Just focusing on like right now and like what we have on the team and what we can do to put our best foot forward for all the games.
Nice. Yeah, because we suffered back-to-back wooden spoon finishes, I must say, being 10th and 11th. But yeah, it was very much everyone played well, but something was just missing at most of the games. I was there for most of them, apart from one last season where we went out and won 5-0, and it was the greatest day because the sun was shining as well.
Yeah.
I was there, absolute blast against poor Canberra. But yeah, again, most of the time, just something wasn't there. So it's nice to see that, we can hopefully do a bit better. Well, a lot better, actually. Yeah. I think the fans are quite excited and think we can push for top 6. So it's an awesome one.
Yeah.
Now, a bit more about yourself. You say you're an attacking fullback, sort of ex-winger thing. What should we be watching out for when the ball gets to you? Are you inverted? Do you stay wide? Those sort of things, or?
So I want to be the type of fullback, and Paul wants me to be the type of fullback that can like play both inverted and obviously like get wide and high when the time is right to do so. So I think it's like super important to be able to do both. Like you have to be good on your feet, obviously, to play inverted. So like the technical ability has to be there. And then like being wide, I love going down the flank. Like consider myself a pretty athletic, fast person. So love to attack, combine up there with the wingers and make things happen up top too. But also like I take great pride in like defensively, like not letting a lot of people get by me and like through our back line. So I also like am super excited to help like with that as well. Not just like the offense portion of it. So I think like it'll be super exciting to watch our wing backs play this year because it's going to be both. It's not just going to be like staying high and wide or just being wide. It's going to be like combining in the middle and doing what's best to get forward as fast as we can. So I think it's going to be really fun to watch both invertedly and out wide. So.
No, that's awesome. And with Michaela Foster in the other fullback role predominantly from last year, and she's got an excellent cross on her and was, one of our players of last season, it'll be really awesome to be able to unlock the opposition through both fullbacks now. So.
Yeah. No, of course. I've heard great things about her, and I know that Paul wants more wing backs that like do play like her, and so it'll be fun to watch like both of us and like the rest of the girls that play fullback. both play invertly and out and make a difference going up the flank. So I think that when you have wing backs that want to be involved in the attack, it really makes a difference. So
that's awesome. So you said a bit more that you're kind of playing a bit more possession-based this year. Is that the sort of style that we're putting together, is more of a possession-based hold the ball or play it around the back?
It is kind of like this, I would say, like the style that we're trying to play this year. I think that Paul wants the wing backs to be like very involved in the attack. And there's different ways you can do that. Obviously, like the traditional ways, like for your wing backs to be high and wide. But he sees it almost as like the field is in 5 lines. And like if you can play like in each section of the lines, like that's where you're going to have success. So like if that means like I'm making a run like straight through the midfield and like going all the way up to the 9, and then like someone drops down like for my position defensively, like that's what we're going to do. And like he's very flexible with how he wants to play. And it really is very based upon like the wing backs this year, which is like really exciting for me to hear because I want to get involved. So just being able to recognize like if I'm inside, if I'm inverted, like the winger will be wide. And like if the winger's inside, then like I can be high and wide. So it's kind of just like having to play off each other and like have that good relationship is like the style of play that I think that that we want to play this year. So definitely want to be involved in the attack, but also like thinking on counterattacks to how you can be solid defensively. So
no, that's awesome. And that sounds like quite exciting football ahead. So that's always a plus.
Yeah.
Now for some A-League knowledge, do you know much about any of the other A-League teams at all? Know any of the other players?
So I only know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about like the different players in the A-League. I obviously it's a very like being American, like I know of so many players that have been like in and out of the A-League from the NWSL, which is kind of like another reason why I wanted to come here is because it's a very like I don't want to say like pro-American league, but like they do. I feel like the A-League does like to look at the American side of it, and there's a lot of interchanging. So the only like player that I've like played against that's in the A-League now is Sierra Henson. I'm pretty sure she's still at Perth Glory. She played at Texas, and I was at OU. So she's really the only one that I like know personally. But we've started to watch some of like the games from last year, so I'm starting to get more familiar with like different players that have come back to the A-League this year. So
the A-League's also in the middle of the night in America. It's it's painful to watch.
Yeah, so it's like, the World Cup was one thing, but the regular season is like, I don't know.
So speaking of Perth Glory, are you excited for your first distance derby then at some point during the season?
I'm sorry, my what?
It's a Wellington Phoenix term where because us in Perth are quite far away, it's called the distance derby because it's some ridiculous distance between the two seasons. Are you excited for like some stupid 10-hour flight or something over there?
We were just talking about that today. I think it's a solid 8-hour flight to get over to Perth. So, but that just makes it even better when you do win that game. So.
No, that's awesome then. And then, is there a particular goal you've scored or one you've prevented that is like one of your favorite, moments from your career?
For sure, a goal that I've scored is I'll never forget this. My freshman year, I was playing as a winger, and we were playing Texas A&M, which they have historically been top 25 program for years. And so like being at OU where like we pretty much like never made the tournament, to go, and it was at Texas A&M, and like my whole family was there obviously because it's close to home. And I ended up scoring like a pretty awesome goal in the first half, like off a corner, just like one time, just slammed it in the goal, and like everyone went crazy, and it was just like such a awesome moment like for me. as a freshman to like score such an insane goal like for my team and against like a good team that has like decorated players. I kind of like realized like, oh, maybe I can play with these girls. So I'll never forget that one. That one was pretty special, especially in front of my family. And defensively, like I will say at Pitt, playing against girls that have been like in and out of the national team, whether that's camps or call-ups, like at North Carolina, Duke, Notre Dame, like those pretty decorated programs, like I've prevented different goals from happening, like slide tackles, like the last minute, like when you think that you just like can't go anymore defensively and like you just make that tackle at the very end and like you make the opposition kind of have to go around you, like they want to go on the other side or kind of have to do a strategic move like that. Like I think that's like pretty exciting for me as a wingback. Kind of have to like be solid defensively and like be super hard to get past, and I take great pride in that. So I think, I mean, there's not a specific like defensive play that I've made that I'm like, oh, this was like the one like that I'll always remember. It's like a series of just like accomplishments over the years with these teams. So
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Denise?
Sure. So we just have some random fun questions.
Yeah,
Sometimes thoughtful. Do you have any like heroes or football icons or people in other sports that just, you kind of go, cool?
So actually, I have a recent new hero, like soccer hero. Her name is Riley. She's actually on our team now. Obviously like our goalkeeper that she was in an accident a few years ago and has done so much rehab to try to get back to playing, and kind of like listening to her story recently and like getting to know her better. I've kind of just been like, it's put my life into perspective, like with football. It's like, she's awesome. Like to be able to come back from that and like to be where she is today. Like, I think that's truly like an incredible thing. And I'm not going to take for granted, like the health that I'm in and like my life in general. And like, I've been pretty healthy over the years. So, it's kind of put my life into perspective a little bit, like knowing someone that's gone through such like a life-changing thing. So I would say Riley's my hero right now, my soccer hero. So
Cool.
That's great. I mean, we have this question, who are you cheering for right now inside and outside of football or soccer? And I think we're all cheering for her, like she's a really great signing at the keeper position, but we are cheering for her comeback. Yeah. Anyone else? Keep going.
No. I was just going to comment, like, she's an awesome person too. Obviously.
Yeah. Hoping to get her on the podcast. Can you tell her we'd love to have her?
No, she totally would. She's such a, like an outgoing, like easygoing person, like loves to talk to people. So she 100% would. So I'll let her know. But
I mean, who do you go to when things fall apart?
It's a good question. So my grandma, actually, she like is my hero completely. Like every single stage in life has been my rock and like my solid like go-to, and watches seriously every single game. And she's been going through like some issues recently, like with her mobility, and like had a bunch of hip surgeries, and she still like watches everything and calls me every day and like asking about it, and like has been the one that's been like pushed me to take this huge step in my life, and like been like, it's okay, like you're going to do well, and like don't be scared, like just go do it, and like has given me tons of courage, I would say. And I just like, I wish so bad that like she could come here and like actually see it herself, because like this is such an incredible place. And but she has always been someone that like through the highs and the lows has just been a rock. So
I love that.
I'll make you another of those plaques for your grandma.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. No, she loves it so much. Like she's my hero, 100%. So thank you.
Yeah.
No worries.
Dean is great. And I'm sure your grandma is really proud of you. Okay, here's another direction. Ertz and Pino just retired.
I know.
So, I mean, what do you like? Okay, what do you identify with them, and how is that, as an American seeing those two say?
I was actually the other night I was watching Julie's speech that she made after her last game, and I just was like, so I got goosebumps. I was like, I mean, you grow up watching these girls, and Hope and Mariana have been around them, playing in the NWSL, and it's they've changed so much in the game. I feel like they have advocated for women's sports and really been a stepping stone for change, I think, in a lot of different things, whether those are different opinions with people. But I think at the end of the day that the game would not be as progressed if it wasn't for the people fighting for it. And those two people in their own ways have done so much with that. And so such an honor to be able to be even a professional like they are. I just look up to them so much, and I thank them for what they've done for the women's sport. So
yeah, I mean, Julie Ertz, just a total truck when she plays, just incredible.
Yeah.
And
Super
so
humble.
good.
Yeah.
And really
Super
humble. And just, tenacious, right? And then Pino, I mean, obviously incredible. I mean, if you see her kick a ball, it just moves in this wonderful, wild way. And
so creative. And I think that they're both really amazing in different ways. And I think that it's awesome that Julie, both of them are doing it on their own time. I think that it's pretty courageous and it's pretty brave for Julie. She just had a child. So being able to say I want to step into this role as a mother, and being so sure about it is pretty awesome. And then Megan is such a creative player and such a fun player to watch. So it really sucks for the audience. But I think that doing what's best for you is the most important thing. And they also have allowed others to kind of realize I can do that too. So
yeah, they two people who've really left the game in a better place, I think, for the world, personally.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so if you had to play against Ertz, Pino, and Alex Morgan, 3-on-3, what Wellington Phoenix players would you take with you?
All of them.
All right, just name three you go to, two others that you go to war with. Because Americans will compete against each other. That's part of our DNA.
Yeah, I was going to say my roommates, but if I had to choose non-Americans,
Okay.
Mac could definitely stuff someone hard.
We're talking about Mackenzie Berry?
Yeah, Mackenzie Berry. She is a rock. So maybe Mac is one. This is so hard.
You can take an American.
I have to do Mariana and Hope. I just have to. Mariana's the 9 that's super long legs, speedy, and then Hope is a player maker. So
all right.
You can't go wrong with those 3. You can't go wrong with any of them, but
they are 3 that would line up well with Ertz, Pino, and Morgan.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Any other quirky questions that we have?
I got a couple. Outside of football, do you have any hobbies, interests, ways to pass the time?
That's what I'm trying to figure out now. But, honestly, when I come home from practice, I'm all about just hanging out at home, watching TV, starting new shows, starting new movies, love to go explore the city. I'm a very outdoor person, I feel like. I like to I love meeting new people, new things, trying new restaurants, all kinds of stuff like that. I wouldn't say I'm a one type person. I think I do like lots of different things. So
you mentioned Mac. Have you been there long enough to develop a nickname yet, or have you learned the nicknames for everybody?
So everyone calls her Mac, so I call her Mac. But there's not like a whole lot of like crazy nicknames on the team. I'm trying to think. I'm on the spot right now.
What do they just call you? Hailey, Hales?
Yeah, Hailey. If they're like joking around me, they say Harley. But that's usually just the Americans because the Kiwis are too nice to like be like, to come at you like that. But Alyssa will throw one in there once in a while.
Good.
But no, yeah, it's usually just Hailey. But we'll see as the season goes on. There's probably going to be another Harley in there.
I saw on the Pitt profile for you that it said that you were 5'4". Is that correct in height? American
Yes.
height?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm also living the 5'4" dream. Do you, when it comes to a corner, did I send you back to halfway?
No, oh yeah, 100%. Like I was always, even in college, like I was always the person that they stuck at the halfway line and they're like, if anyone gets out of this corner, like it's one-on-one, like you're running. And so There's actually been a few times where I've like had to like stop a breakaway. So I'm usually not in the corners.
I've lived that life. I know all about that. My only advice for you today, when you're sort of playing with the Wellington Phoenix, especially at training, stay away from Zoe McMeekin when there's a cameraman around.
Yeah. I look up at her. I'm like, how are you 20?
Exactly. Ethan, over to you, my friend.
I think I'm all out of questions at the moment. Most of them have all been answered. But I would recommend that there's a lot of like cool places to explore in the Wellington region that aren't much for drive. Lots of walks and like beaches, rivers, all this sort of stuff. So I would highly recommend going to try and find some of those around. So
yeah, but no,
Botanical Gardens is one of my favorite, actually.
Yeah, Zealandia's pretty close, isn't it?
yeah, that's in town somewhere-ish.
I have no idea.
Ish.
What is Zealandia?
It's like a fenced-off bird sanctuary kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So it takes up a good portion. So it's like
We're,
a zoo, but not really. It's just a nature, like a really large reserve, and there's lots of species in there.
Something I have noticed is there's so many sheep here. Like there are more sheep than people, I think.
I think now
way more. It's like 6 million people, 60 million sheep. Yeah,
I've never seen that before ever. It's hilarious.
It's so many cows now. A lot of them have started switching from sheep to cows, so now we've probably got more cows than people here too. So
and I'm a city slicker from San Francisco, but now I have like 2 rescue horses. Like you just end up in agriculture somehow.
Yeah, no, I want a baby sheep now.
The farmer will just give you one.
Yeah, they're so cute.
They're all like babies right now. We another one of our podcasters, Jessie, is a sheep farmer. It's too bad she's not on. I'm sure you'll meet her. She's really fun, and she's a South Island sheep farmer, and it's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah.
All right, we have one final segment. Who wants to bring this?
I could do that. Hopefully, Brenton mentioned we've decided to sort of do a little bit of a show and tell at the end. Just give each of us an opportunity just to show something off that might be sort of, well, hopefully it's football related, but is meaningful to them. For example, last time we did a podcast, we had Bex Lake, who showed us a 50-match ring from her football club, Christchurch United. Do you have anything? I suppose you're overseas now, but is there anything that you've got?
So yeah, that's the portion I was like, I don't have anything with me. Like literally all I brought were like my 2 suitcases.
What's your favorite thing at home that you have, soccer related?
Yeah, good question.
Or you could think about that. Ethan and Dean and I could go first if you want to.
Yeah, maybe you guys.
Okay. I got something cool. I picked this up at the World Cup. And these are Nigerian indoor soccer. Do you know this, the second Nigerian kit?
Oh my God. Oh
I
wow.
thought these were pretty cool.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know those existed.
I know. I saw them in like some big football store in Sydney, Football Central
wow.
or some
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What?
some big store. So I was like, these are cool.
That's awesome.
So I occasionally put them on and walk around my house. And then I have, in honor of Pino's last match today, I'm going to take off my, well, let's see if I can do it with my headset on.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Oh, I love that.
And I was there at this match, so it was really fun.
Oh,
Obviously, she didn't
I
have
got
a
goosebumps.
crown on her head, but
That's awesome.
yeah, it's fun.
Seriously, like that. I know. I need that shirt too.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, I
Well,
can go next then.
Yeah.
So I don't actually have much, if any, USA gear. I figured that would be most appropriate. But the closest I have is also Women's World Cup related. I have the scarf from the USA Netherlands game, which was played in Wellington,
wait, that's
and-
cool.
and I went to. And fun fact, if you watch the Dutch score, immediately after the camera coverage pans to me and my parents celebrating extremely hard in the stadium,
You have
only
to
to
send a screenshot of that. That's awesome.
only to be disappointed about 50 minutes later. But we would take the 1-1, and I was quite happy with us. But yeah,
That's awesome.
that's the closest. Figured I shouldn't wear a Netherlands shirt, but yeah.
That's great. I love that.
And I'm not sure if
so-
I've actually shown this off before. I might have done it on a podcast. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly.
Your screen is frozen. Can everyone else
Well,
see,
lucky you.
Dave?
I'm holding up Oscar Zavada's
Okay.
Golden Warren Award, the ALeague award that he got last year. I'll see if I can press a button and
I don't know. You look quite handsome in your frozen photo.
well, imagine I'm holding up a A-League award, as I actually am, and it's a big glass award that's about 2 kilograms in weight, and it's the A-League Fan Player of the Year for last season for Oscar Zavada. In a very sort of roundabout circle of events, it's ended up in my house
Wait, how
in
did you
Sydney,
get that?
and I'll be giving it to him sometime this season.
That's cool that there's
That's
a fan
awesome.
award.
I'll
You got it.
one up that one. I don't know how you got it because I was invited to present that award to Oscar. So at the end of season awards, I got asked to present the fan voted awards. So I was up there and I physically presented Oscar and Mickey with their truckload of awards. So there's a photo on my football Instagram
I saw
of
some
me and
photos,
Oscar
yeah.
with that photo. So it's somehow gone from Wellington and he's left it in Sydney.
Oh, no,
That's
that
awesome.
one was the club award, wasn't it, that you won?
Was it a club award, Ethan, or was it the A-League award?
Because
Hello,
the one-
I'm back. I think my internet carked it.
Okay. This is all falling
Sorry.
apart now.
Where did
Anyway,
it
we'll
get
work it out. If it was a club award or an A-League award. But
the club's award that it got sent out to all the members and they voted on their player of the year and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that was the one that I presented the fan ones on behalf of the fans to
cool.
Oscar and
This one is the
others.
whole A-League award voted by all the A-League fans.
The one that we have to imagine seeing. 'cause
Yeah.
we're frozen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's made of glass, and I'm absolutely shitting myself thinking that I'd somehow between now and giving it to him, I'm going to drop it, and it's going to go into 1,000 pieces, and I'll have some explaining to do.
Oh, you have to give it to him. So
Yeah.
from last year. Okay, so
And it's about, say, 2.5 kilograms, so it's not easy to sort of just put it in your car and sort of carry it around in a bag in case you bump into them.
got it. So next Australian game that you're at, you got to shove it. Yeah, okay, cool.
I'll stick it somewhere. You can be sure of that.
All right, Hailey, do you have anything to add about one of your favorite pieces of memorabilia?
I mean, I would just say like, obviously every senior, on your senior night, you get like a big plaque of like your jersey with your number on it and like some remarks. And I think that's actually, obviously it's at my house, but I think that like when I received that, I mean, it's so nice. It's like a beautiful frame, like with my like huge jersey on it. And I think like, although it's just like a frame, like it's just, I'll be able to look back on that one day and be like, that was like one of the best experiences like I've had in my life. And so like when I go home one day or wherever I end up, I'm gonna like hang it somewhere, obviously. And my mom's kept like all of my, like every single jersey I've had like throughout the years, like FC Dallas, OU, Pitt, like even my summer teams, like literally every single jersey I've ever had. So I think like those for me like represent different stages like of my life. So those are probably my memorable items.
Yeah, that's lovely bits of evidence of who you are and who you're becoming. I'm sure the Wellington Phoenix kit will end up there as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes. Rumor has it the away kits really fly. So looking
they're
forward
great.
to that.
They're great.
Cool. All right. I think let's end it there. So Hailey, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate your time. This podcast is going to go out to so many fans of the Wellington Phoenix, especially on the women's side. And gosh, have a great season. Really make us proud. And we'll be in the stands.
Yeah. Thank you. Of course. Don't be scared to come say hi and whatnot. So
cool. All right. So signing off the Flight of the Nick podcast. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, Dean. And signing off. Take care, everyone.
bye. Thank you.
See you all. Stay safe.